we'll see who cancels who.
People have been asking us more and more about the one of the co-hosts of Leftist Mafia, and because there's been a lot of first there were the videos calling it drama and all sorts of things, and then there were videos that came out and explained the more egregious allegations in detail, and so we came together and basically the Leftist Mafia decided that one of our members was going to get a promotion like this. If you guys remember this scene from Goodfellas. No, basically we had to decide whether one specific member, Blair, aka Illuminaughtii, was going to stay with the show after these videos came out. And people have been asking us about it for weeks, and at first I think we thought, at least this is from my perspective, I thought it was just YouTube drama, and those first videos were titled as such. And then more videos came out and more videos came out and gave us a much larger sort of view of what was really going on. And it was mixed in with some of that like YouTube drama stuff that we just assumed it all was at first, but it wasn't all that. Some of those some of the issues were very serious. And I think we had a meeting, which is actually the first time we met when we weren't doing a show, just to let you all know how serious we took this. And I think
deadass on Saturday. On Saturday.
It was Saturday.
Yeah.
And I think we decided that the combination of how serious some of these allegations were, combined with the fact that unfortunately Illuminaughtii was not addressing the more serious allegations, and also she had mentioned that if it became too much, she would have stepped away on her own. But we decided that it was detracting from our work and what we do, and the allegations weren't good, and we couldn't really stand by without any sort of addressing of the situation on her end. But it just wasn't happening in the weeks that we gave her the chance to do it. So as of today, the Leftist Mafia is Mike Figueredo, David Dole, Ole, Lance, and me, Matt Binder, and that's it. The five of us. Mm-hmm. We also decided that based on how the past few weeks went, every month our audience will vote on which one of us gets kicked off the show next. And we will continue that until there's none of us left.
Just one sole survivor. Can I also add to that rules as well? Just on a more serious note, I do apologize to the audience for not taking this seriously. I just want you to understand from our perspective as public-facing people, every single week, if not every day, we see a bunch of drama about each other, about, oh, did you know that Lance said this? David said this. And so instinctively, I dismiss a lot of it because a lot of it is bad faith. So I do feel bad that I initially didn't look at the situation with severity. And sometimes not taking a position is taking a position. So I do feel bad that people felt like we were, I guess, inadvertently endorsing Blair's behavior here, because I absolutely, and I want to be clear about this, I unequivocally denounce what she did. And I really feel bad for Wonder and the clique. I think that her behavior was manipulative, controlling, it was deceitful, and it was downright abusive. It's something that you can't do this to people and then just not respond. Like, there needs to be accountability. There needs to be an apology. And like, I believe in restorative justice, but in my opinion, Blair has not even started to take those steps for restorative justice. She hasn't. I genuinely don't even know if she thinks that what she did is wrong.
Yeah, I think I see somebody in the chat said, objectively, this sucks. I would much rather have Blair explain herself and have a conversation with all of you instead of just dropping her no potential for change. This is why the left loses. Respectfully, that's ass. That's not the case here. We've actually been incredibly to our own detriment.
Respectively, that's ass.
No, yeah, we received an excessive amount of criticism because we gave a lot of grace in this situation, and we have given Blair ample opportunity to explain herself. Blair has a massive YouTube channel, bigger than all of our channels, even with the loss of subscribers, bigger than all of our channels. She is continuing to upload videos. She is choosing, for whatever her own reasons, not to address it, explain herself. And again, I made clear, and for that reason, I have seen my face on several thumbnails slandering me, because the last time we addressed it, because I said that I did speak to her, and obviously she did not share with me what the nature of this situation is, because like I said, when we addressed it on the after show, for those who've seen it, I said I didn't know. I did not watch the exposés because I was not somebody going to go out of my way. I figure this is drama. That's what I thought. We're always like, you know,
it also started way more minor too, right?
But,
it was like
yeah,
accusations of like little things that escalated to bigger things, and escalated to bigger things.
We should make it clear that those first videos, like I really have a hard time watching videos like that based on YouTube drama, and those first videos were that they were even titled as such. Like, I'm not even like just myself, I'm like describing it as that. Some of the videos I saw, when people told me, oh, you got to watch this video, it was like the Illuminati drama explained, the controversy around Illuminati. Like, those sort of clickbait headlines don't do anyone any real justice or help if the actual, if based on the headline too, but also a lot of the content was mixing in some of this, basically like, this creator doesn't like this creator and they have a beef over this sort of menial reason. Like, when you mix those things into the real issues that were focused on weeks later, I think you sort of muddy the water. That's why I was so confused at first, and I think the rest of you felt that way too.
Every week there's 6 of us. Every week I look, someone is tangentially in their own internet controversy with some backstories and pre-existing relationships and things that I don't know about. And that just is par for the course. You know what I mean? It goes past. To me, I assumed, yes, I thought she was in a huge scandal, but I thought it was because her platform is huge. I thought the drama is commensurate to the size of her platform, not the level of the true seriousness of like this being a thing. And I'm not somebody, like I said, I wasn't going to go out of my way to go spend my time like watching, what I assume is drama with controversy in a bunch of videos. And I just didn't really know. And I just kind of was going about my business because, to my understanding, all that had ever been presented to me on this situation or from Blair or anything was that there are people that did not like her, that she's previously known, you know what I mean? Because she went and did her own thing, and jealousy. I see now that appears to be the opposite of such, right? But that was all I thought. I thought this is some whatever thing. And I've since gotten informed. The whole thing about information in this life is when you get new information, you come to an opinion, a conclusion. And I will say this, I understand why there was somebody in the audience last week I had noted, I'd seen say, we're worried about y'all. You know what I mean? Is why and I was like, in my mind, in my spirit at the time, I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? Whatever. And then by the time I watched 15 exposés, it's really an unfortunate thing to piss off excellent video essayists, because fascinating drama as a person
or all of them.
I understood what people were saying. I see, what's up. I understand why y'all were like, we need to watch the videos, we need to this. Oh, I understand.
Yeah, and I want to add also that like the only context that I had was Blair's initial response video, and at that point when I watched that, I thought that the totality of the drama was the legal eagle stuff. Watching her video, I didn't have any additional context. I thought that it was fine. But after going through watching, recap videos, watching the Click and Wonders videos, I actually feel really disappointed in myself that I didn't watch her initial video more critically, because there were red flags.
Same. I assumed. Here's the thing. I watched it in a vacuum. I've never seen, I don't know any of these people. I've never seen anything. I assumed, my rational mind could only assume that she must have been responding to them. You know what I mean? Like allegations they made. I never thought, I would have conceived, like when I watched that it was her presenting his mental health for the first time and bringing it. I didn't look at it. I didn't see this note. I didn't, you know what I mean? In my mind, oh, she's in drama. here's a video. This is somebody, you know, I have a friendly enough relationship that I host the thing or whatever. Cool, whatever. I didn't know, I didn't see, I didn't whatever. Once I actually seen videos and seeing what the original tweets and all these different things are, I could see it differently, the use of the platform, but I didn't have any of that context. And like, you know, I thought about it, it's just, I just did not realize. I just didn't fucking realize a month ago, like, this would be this. I really, like I said, this is the first time we've never met. We've done this show this whole time. This was something like we did to have fun. Like Lance put us together one time for a midterm stream. Then we thought it would be fun to do the show. And we've never had a meeting ever. We go real. We just roll with it. We've never had a meeting. This was the first time we had to have a meeting. I never thought I could do a meeting, so I just didn't know.
Yeah, and I also want to address the fact that, like, when it comes to this entire situation, I also released an individual video to apologize because I did take, like, Blair's side initially when I'd seen her first video, and I didn't know this was going to continuously amplify into what it's become. It's one of those things where, like, I recorded that, I went off to go do the Tim Pool thing, you know, my editor ended up releasing it, like, days later, and then all of a sudden it's like, Lance, you have to watch, like, 8 more videos. Just, like, there's, like, hours and hours and hours of things now that have come out since, and then, like, I think it's totally valid and totally, like, you know, it's a very fair criticism of both myself or I guess any other content creator who makes this kind of stuff and is like, you can't just say that stuff exists in a vacuum. You can't just like isolate yourself completely and be like, oh, well, this is, you know, maybe there's always going to be more to this story or something else is going to come out, you know. I think that's a totally fair critique. What I don't think is a fair critique, by the way, chat, and this is the one that I'm going to push back on, to the people who are like, Lance is doing this because he's simping. He's simping. This is not. First off, you can have friends who are women. It's okay. It's awesome, actually. It's super based. It's super awesome to have friends who are women. And also, standing up for women in general doesn't immediately mean that the only reason is you want fuck. Like, yes, what? Do we get to fuck now? And if you really want to push this whole kind of like, I was being led astray to, and I know this is for internet trauma and everything, you could say the same thing about when I saw the Clicks video for the first time. I was like, oh, this is an incredibly gorgeous human being. He's very beautiful. Am I being swayed by that in and of itself? Am I not like going to listen to the arguments that come out right afterwards? Am I not going to hear, you know, what happens? It's absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah. I see people in the chat saying for anybody who might be confused, I don't know how y'all have missed it at this point. If we're finally up to date, I don't know how y'all don't know what's up. But basically the summation is Blair has been accused and a significant amount of evidence that has not been rebutted has been presented to show that Blair basically has a pattern of abuse. She seems vengeful. It seems like she has a pattern. She has a pattern of being vengeful towards content creators in her path. That's what it seems like. Like that's what the accusations are. People who've worked with her. It seems like that from watching a million exposés. It seems like what it seems like perceived slights lead to massive.
And there's also a power imbalance here as well. First of all, if any of you just told us that she was a landlord, she would have been gone like that. I didn't know we had a landlord in our midst, okay? That is a non-starter for me. I think that as leftists, we failed by admitting a landlord to the podcast. Finding that out was mind-blowing.
The landlord thing is the thing we find most horrifying of the things.
No, not most. No. Not most. It would have got my attention quicker. But like overall, going through
the landlord thing
we can go through. I think it is important to go through some of it.
I don't care about. I mean, I'm not a landlord, but I don't give a shit about that. I mean, whatever.
It was like, the deleting. It was really, you know, a lot of shit made my like hair stand up. Like what made me, like I said, I'm really prepared to. I said to all of y'all, I was like, oh, for the one time, I'm like, I'm really the audience was right, and that we need to look into it. I see what they were saying as far as like, yeah, right, like this is something we need to address.
It wasn't just drama. Like it was way more than drama. You know,
it was framed to us as drama.
Yeah, it's and again, we are in a position where we are constantly presented with drama, and a lot of it is bad faith. So, when we're on this massive platform, when you have 6 different leftists from different spheres of the internet, I mean, you have a lot of bad faith bullshit. So we kind of have to have that baked in solidarity by default. But in this instance, you know, their solidarity was kind of it was bad for us. And part of it is because like being in a group dynamic here like this with somebody who has very clearly had issues with groups in the past, that's why people were especially concerned, I think. Just to kind of go through. So like because it seems like a lot of my audience doesn't even know, just to give you a really quick rundown. So there was a bunch of allegations, but the biggest ones that stood out to me was there was this group called Sad Milk, and one of the members, Click, she essentially pedo jacketed him. She smeared him. She paid people to dig up dirt on him. She had sock puppet accounts harass him. And, think of the Jimmy Dore libtard01 situation on steroids, exponentially worse. When it comes to Wonder, watching his full video, like I watched a bunch of recaps and then I watched Wonder's full video, and the recaps didn't do it justice. The Wonder video broke my fucking heart. I really identified with him because he was in this position where he was very young. He was 19 years old. She was his landlord. She controlled his transportation. She controlled a lot of elements of his life. And the problem with like having your employer be your landlord and control so much of your life is they can take away your entire livelihood like that. It's not just your livelihood, your housing. And basically that happened to Wonder. He lost everything and it nearly drove him to the brink of suicide. And then she took that and she used that against him in his video when he talked about how, and this part really struck me in Wonder's video. Wonder talked about how he told Blair he was trying to unalive himself. He was looking for the keys to his dad's gun cabinet. And her response to Oz Media, and Oz is somebody who kind of covered for her and brought all the receipts, was that, well, I don't know what the reason was effectively why he did this, but I'm just concerned for myself. Not even taking into any concern his personal safety. And she kind of framed it as a wellness check when she called the police on him. Wonder shared how, telling the police there's a suicidal man that could put me in danger, even though I was suicidal there. It's just there's a lot. And again, like to me, it's not just simple drama. This goes beyond drama. It's abuse. And it reminds me of like a textbook DARVO case, which DARVO, for those of you who don't know, is an acronym for Deny, Attack, Reverse Victim Offender, where instead of just owning up to something and apologizing, you flip it and you make yourself the victim and you go on the offensive. And now watching their videos and juxtaposing that with Blair's response and seeing that again, it feels more like that to me. Although I'm not a psychoanalyst, so I can't say any more. But like this is very serious, and I feel really, really bad for the people involved, especially Wonder.
Yeah. No,
I haven't spoken much on this because you guys are saying everything I'm agreeing with. Like this is just from my perspective. I think it was said earlier. Like I just didn't think anything of this until I saw it. Like I think it was like we were like 3 weeks into it, and she hadn't been on the show for those weeks either. Like she took time away. And I was seeing comments and like still comments. I'm like, all right, I guess this is for real. Let me look into this. And then when I finally watched a couple of videos, I was like, oh, okay, this actually is serious. And again, we have the perspective of seeing bullshit, ongoing bullshit all the time, whether it's on Twitter or wherever, about all of us at some point. So it's hard to know what to take seriously when it's about personal drama between two people, because there are other criticisms that we're trying to compare to, like, oh, you guys went after Anna, like it's just so stupid on so many levels because
it's not the same,
like not even close to the same. That is a something that was said publicly on Twitter that on its face we could all like be just by seeing what was written that we didn't agree with. It's much different than knowing what is happening between personal relationships between individuals. Like those are not the same at all, because we have
past Anna agrees with the take as well
sight on what is going on in those relationships, right? Meanwhile, when it comes to a public post, it's very easy to see what's going on there. So again, it took a while for
also the
us to
Anna
take this
situation.
seriously.
The Anna situation was an issue, like a issue we could discuss. There was it's not one that I wish she had, but it's nonetheless an issue that can be discussed. Like if Illuminati had said what Anna said, she wouldn't have disappeared for 3 weeks. Would have requested she come on the show so we could have this debate about this important issue. This wouldn't have been something that would have been, we got to wait for it to see what happens, or you should step away. Or she's the one who actually, really though, people should know this. when this first happened, she's the one who wanted to step away. We stood by her at first from what we knew, because this stuff hadn't all come out, and it was the legal eagle stuff, and we were like, you don't need to step away, just come on the show. What's wrong? But she was very insistent about stepping away.
Yeah, I want to let the record reflect. I told her to address this. Like, my behind the scenes was, come on the show. My position was always that if you are running essentially, and the internet wants to address you about something, and they feel like you're running away, you have a live show every Thursday, they're only gonna hunt you down. You need to come address it. That was always my position, and it always was. But again, I didn't have the context of what the situation was, and I want to echo a lot of the earlier sentiments. The Anna Kasparian thing y'all are doing, that's a false equivalent with the situation in its entirety, and I don't even feel like addressing it. And as far as the Blair stuff, listen, it's very frustrating, because y'all have to understand, we're doing a live show across a bunch of different platforms. We have to look at a bunch of live chats and comments and things that get in your head. People are literally swarming our chats. They're being it's stressful, right? And then there are a lot of people who do not and have never watched our show. Now suddenly they're watching the show, screaming at us, saying all these negative comments about us, in the audience, because we haven't responded to this or blah blah blah. But they have no other context of us, no other life of us. It's very, we were wading through a lot, and trying to figure that out, and we're doing our best. And I think we're doing our best to be as transparent as humanly possible. I feel like a lot of other shows and places and stuff would not be having a conversation with you or anything like that. We are trying. I feel like y'all should give us a little bit of grace. But yeah, I want to echo what Mike said, and I want to be, like I said, I a few times, I want to be accountable that the audience, I think the audience was right to tell us that we should look into it. I don't think that makes us wrong for not realizing that we should have looked at it and been, super involved. But I do appreciate that y'all insisted and that we took the time to go look into it, because I see that it is a much bigger thing. Because I watch a lot of videos, and I kept learning more and more information and seeing that this is largely a pattern, and seeing like I haven't had any issues with it. But what I found very striking is, of the information that have been presented to me, because I have, like I told y'all, I have talked to Blair, and since all this has happened, I talked to her. What was being given to me just did not at all present what was, you know what I mean? I felt very like, what the fuck? Like, hey, what the fuck? When the fuck did I enter the Game of Thrones? I was blown away. I'm like, what is happening? Like, I'm like, so.
You know what this made me realize? I would be so shit at the Game of Thrones. I was like, when this was all going on, when I was watching all the videos, I was like, oh my god, I would love to think that I was going to be some fine, bisexual god king, like the Viper or some shit. No, I would get rolled. I would get so rolled. There's so many moments where I'm just like, wait, what? Because I'm too pristine. I would get fucking manipulated.
Honestly, I'm pretty good. I had everybody's reactions, like everybody in Leftist Mafia pegged for how we'd respond in different situations and stuff. The thing about the Blair situation is, I'm not paying attention to Blair, because Blair, has only ever served she's a triangle. We don't see her in the first place.
Right. We don't know what she looks like.
10 minutes collectively the entire show, and so she serves more moderator-ish when she's here, and she's pleasant in those interactions. So there's really no reason for me to assess her, you know what I mean? To be thinking about her in a deep level. And so, we've only.
Meanwhile, she was Littlefinger the whole time. She was
oh
playing
my god, Littlefinger, Cersei, nigga, Cersei. So I was like, what? And I had to go to because me and Laugh had pretty much been on
I would have been cut in season 1. I wouldn't make it past season 1.
I had to go to Laugh on Saturday and be like, that ass, hold on, wait a second. I think I literally went, I said, we might, I hate it, but David Doyle might be right. I was like, let me go to the chat. I think David and Binder had this.
Maybe you should give more credit to me and my chat from now on. Then I think it's what should happen.
You're beating the racism charges now.
Ourselves, but I will give you credit. I will acknowledge. I told y'all in our official meeting. I said, wait a second. I have a new opinion. I have a new opinion. I am totally prepared to embrace humility and say, when you get more information, you can come to a different conclusion. I see what's up. It's real fucking crazy. For me, it was the Wonderstruck stuff really blew my fucking mind. And I also was really I hated for my own self that I'm just so busy and not thinking about it that I missed over. It was an oversight, because if I had been paying attention, it should have immediately alerted me. Why would a CEO or why would the boss be, buying the car and all these different things? Like, it's so obvious once it's exposed and once the receipts, like, you know what I mean, what's happening there. But I just didn't fucking think about it like that. From my perspective, how it was being presented to me was very like, look at what I've done for this person, and this person is doing this to me, and I'm like, yeah, you know what I mean? And I also think I wished throughout this whole, well, I don't wish, honestly, because I think everything needed to happen. It seems like this has happened for a long time. This is a long whatever, and this is this is not any, I don't got no personal beef with Blair Illuminati. I hope they figure out, I hope, not wishing any ill on them, they could do it however they want, but this is just what my objective thoughts are on the situation. If it were my client, I wouldn't take it to trial, is what I'm saying, based on that's what I've seen. It seems like this has happened for a long time, and because of power, you know what I mean, and having a large platform, it hasn't been exposed in this large of a way. But it seems like Wonderstruck got the strength to come forward because the Click did, and then everybody else did with their platforms, and that's the only reason why it's like this. And I think that that situation needed to happen. And maybe if we had been paying more attention from the beginning, it wouldn't have, because if I'd been paying more attention, I would have told her never to tweet the legal stuff. But I wasn't paying attention then. Like when that happened. No, and then you said, yeah, but I couldn't. Here's what you have to understand: if you're not in this world of like this kind of, I don't know people who do things like this. I couldn't even conceive that someone's doing shit like this. This blew minds. Like, I literally went to the group chat. We went like, hold on, this is scary. I see why they're telling us we should be concerned. But I couldn't conceive of that. So I just, y'all, I was fucking shocked. Okay, I didn't fucking know.
Yeah, blindsided. We were blindsided.
Yeah, I didn't know.
Yeah, it sucks.
Exactly.
Yeah,
and I just want to say that, like,
supportive. I was trying to be like very supportive to them. I'm a defense attorney, right? I just find like, okay, people are fucking with, that's what I assume, blah blah blah. But once I seen, I said, all right, cool. And
you can't like unsee it. Yeah. One thing that Lance said that resonated with me in his apology video is that, like, he kind of puts too much trust in people that he's like friendly with, and I absolutely do the same thing. It really resonated with me because, like, all throughout the years, I've had these shitty connections that I had to sever. Jimmy Dore, H.A. Goodman from the very start of my career as a YouTube commentator. So it's just part of the process. But like it's so difficult to differentiate good faith from bad faith criticism. And I think that's why a lot of creators end up becoming really hard-headed and doubling down. But like, we're not those types of creators. We actually do absorb criticism, even if it is difficult sometimes, even if I admittedly felt cognitive dissonance, but we're trying to learn and grow, and just going forward, we
oh yeah, and being accountable. Like we need to normalize this idea. Like I am so for, especially people with large platforms, coming out being like, I was wrong, or I fucked up, or hey, by the way, I also deeply believe in restorative justice. So it's like anything else. I think like this idea of, hey, on the one end, you have been like credibly accused of something, versus, well, why does the public like response have to be so calculated and then meticulous, and then start this entirely new like drama cycle and all that kind of stuff? Yeah, it's one of those situations where
yeah, and that's the thing. Like I said, on one end, I feel a little bit like, damn, like, I knew it didn't make sense, and there were certain conversations we were having like, I'm like, wait, what? I kept insisting, like, I don't feel like this is the route. Why are you so insistent on this route? But I get it. It's consistent with this larger vengeful Cersei Lannister shit. And like I said, if I'd been paying more attention from the beginning, I think we would have probably put a stop to. I didn't realize that they would ever, even if they thought like the legal thing, I didn't realize that like not jumping in and stopping them from thinking that would lead them to go on a Twitter thread and do all that stuff. Like, because there are lots of things that happen, or you think things, or you talk about other people or content creators amongst other people, but you don't go and make a Twitter thread. Like, you know what I mean? So I wouldn't think like not jumping in and being like, hey, this absolutely doesn't appear to be plagiarism. I swear to God, it doesn't seem to be. Needed to happen in order to stop a Twitter thread. You know what I mean? And then by the time Lance was telling me like, hey, big Illuminati drama's happening, in my mind, she said somebody copied a style in a video. However serious could the drama and the fallout from this be? That's what I'm thinking. And so then, I'm like, the way it's presented to me was like there was this just pre-existing drama with a few people that you're like friends with that you needed to address, and that's what I thought was happening. I thought they were doing all these other horrific, horrible things, and like if I had seen their videos, if I had seen their things, her video would have seemed nuts to me from the jump, because I would have realized she's not even saying shit in it for real, other than just disparage. Nothing that they said was ever addressed or blah 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 blah. And like I said, I've been I was nice to Blair behind the scenes about all of this, and I wouldn't have gone and cussed her out, but I would have told her, hey, nigga, you seem dead wrong, guilty, so you should apologize. Like I would have said that, you know what I mean? I would have been like, you should do that, my guy. You should like address that and take that route. But I didn't know anything about it to address from that level. I could only go based on the information I had, and I didn't know that, like, again, I didn't know I was in the Game of Thrones like that. I'm sorry. So
well, and to be fair to you, Ole, like since the beginning of our show, when we announced our show, you were presented with a bunch of like dirt on us. Oh, well, did you hear about the Humanist Report and Rational National? They're fake.
They're libs. They're shit libs. All of them are shit libs.
To navigate that from the very beginning. People hate the fuck out of us. So and you didn't have any context because you were in a different internet space than we were. So like it's been constant.
So yeah, exactly. And that's what I thought. It's like from the minute we announced the show, which to me is like, this is just supposed to be a pleasant, fun time, blend these different, areas of the leftist spectrum of platforms and stuff. It was always negativity and people being like, I can't believe Olay is with such and such. I can't believe Olay is with this one.
She sold out fast.
Yeah,
I remember.
I don't know.
I think
Olay's taking the wrong message here. I think she's got to get on YouTube and search up David Dole controversy explained, the real dirt on Mike Figueredo. Everything you need to know about the Lance drama. I mean, that's the stuff's out there. You gotta dig in now.
Yeah, I just was like, I honestly was,
time to do your due diligence.
Have you heard what I said about Tulsi Gabbard in 2020?
Listen,
you changed, man. You changed, man.
In my mind, I've always tried to some level, I treat everything that I do like these are projects. And they are not like, I treat my own platform like iilluminaughtii, my shit. And I heard somebody in the chat be like, oh, Lay modeled her name after. You might be new to me, but like iilluminaughtii is the name of my Substack and my stuff that I've had for years. That's been my brand before I knew Blair existed. So respectfully, she didn't come up, and she didn't come up with iilluminaughtii. I know you know that.
Right?
So, I'm like, but I treat my own platform as something I have to be responsible for. There's a reason why I don't like stream Leftist Mafia. That's my show. Like, obviously this is all of our show and I feel that or whatever, but it's not the way my show, I consider that where I'm responsible for. That's why I have a pre-written show. I don't live stream. I don't do those things. I like to create a little like universe that I could be responsible with for in the four walls. And I try to not take this on.
Olay does this show on the DL. She doesn't want her audience to know that she does.
On the slide. You're ashamed of this?
Yeah, so like basically though, I was like, that was basically no shit to be fully candid with y'all. Lance came to me about this, like, this is bad. This is affecting all of us. I was like, speak for yourselves. Speak for yourselves. My audience think about this. I literally thought, I was like, I'm feeling a little siloed from the problem, Lance.
It's one of those things where it's like the more you like, everyone kept saying that, and correctly, by the way, like, go watch this video. My Reddit was like flooded with a whole bunch of things where it's like, please watch this. And yeah, it does take a long time, which is one of the reasons why I think everyone here wanted to wait, obviously, to like, give a very fair opportunity to Blair. I don't have any personal like super negative experiences at all, having worked with her. So allowing enough time to go by for her to either make a statement or come back or whatever it's going to be. Right. I think there was a pretty long grace period in between that. And then, yeah, here we are.
Yeah,
I mean, we should, we to be completely open and honest, like, we had that discussion. Lance told her what we were thinking, and she accepted the news. She was the one who, did. I think she was the original like Discord creator of the Leftist Mafia Discord. She handed that over, no problem. We had no issue personally, the five of us, with her, even when the split happened. So, we can't add to, there'll be no like the drama between Leftist Mafia and iilluminaughtii explained videos, because it was a fine split, just to be completely open and honest with everybody and transparent here.
Yeah, she's never did anything to us. I mean, other than me and Lance. I mean, other than lying.
Yeah, it was one of those breakups where it's like it's you, not me. You know.
I just feel a little bit like I will say I was talking to my friend about this in the park on the weekend, right? Because I was really explaining the magnitude. Because again, I had to change my flight from Puerto Rico to come back for this.
That's how serious that she's taking this. That we're all taking this.
Because even still, people are still not pleased. You know, like I'm reading the chat and I'm like, bro, I swear to God, I'm taking this serious as I could. Like I delayed all my shit this weekend. We spent so much time on this. Like David has a child. Binner has a child. They had to go get.
They have families.
Watch videos.
Let's have weekend meetings where we discuss it. Like watch hours and hours of this video. You got to catch up.
Because my parents were coming over. Like
I just want to point out that as I said, there won't be any like explaining the Illuminati issue. As I said that, I'm looking at each of your titles, and Mike Figueredo has the most live stream viewers, and that's because he titled this episode addressing the Illuminati situation.
No way.
I should have done that. I felt like
I didn't check how many.
Usually David Dole has the most, and I'm usually shocked that me and Mike are close in number because he has so many more subscribers. To be fair, I usually live stream. He usually uploads videos, so that could be the discrepancy there. But I'm looking over at Mike's video and I'm like, holy shit, he's almost got 1,000 viewers. And it's because he's the only one of us who put addressing the Illuminati situation.
Get it.
Listen, after weeks of people in the chat saying, hey, you need to talk about this, like, I want it to be clear. We're fucking talking about it.
Yeah.
Finally, please understand this is what's happening.
Yeah. So back to what I was saying, I was talking to my friend in the park and I was like, you know, as a defense attorney, if my client is guilty, that's not a problem. I'm going to represent them in the same way. So back to they have to tell me though, because that changes how I represent them. You know what I mean? Because if your client you can't go up in court talking about, woo, my client is innocent. My client is a wronged man. And they have a video of your client doing the shit. You know what I'm saying? So it was like, I think what was boggling for me was the magnitude of innocence that had been being, you know, pled. Like if it had just been like, hey, I'm Cersei. I'm Cersei. And people who fuck with me, they get Cersei. You know what I mean? Like that I would have known that's what's happening. But people were pleading a whole lot of innocence. And I told Lance, I was like, bro, I've never seen so much discovery in my life. Like I've never seen so many. Like I went to Lance, like, listen to me, Lance. Listen, Lance. There are receipts. Like there are lots and lots of receipts. So I just hate that I'm like, you know. You put me, I would have like at least tell us, my God, like it could let us know that this meteor was heading our fucking way. You know, I just didn't, it wasn't presented to us at any point like, hey, this shit is some shit that's so serious it's going to be imputed to y'all. This is not just individual drama I have going on or whatever. I wish I would have liked a fucking heads up. You know what I mean? But
I mean, we were all weekend, like we were sending each other resources. Me and LA were going back and forth. Like, did you hear about this shit? And she's like, no, I saw this video. And she sent me, and I'm like, no, I watched that one too. Like, this is so like you were so caught up. Genuinely overwhelming. Yeah, it's overwhelming. You know, I spent like the entire weekend watching this and getting educated because you all said it was serious, and holy fuck, you weren't wrong. And it's not like I did do some research beforehand, but not as extensive as I did last weekend, to where I was like genuinely like getting caught up watching the actual videos, not just the recaps. And yeah, it was mind blowing. It was.
I'm polling my my audience right now in chat because I'm just curious. I asked, did you know about the Illuminati drama before we addressed it just now? Yeah. So far, yes is winning 60% to 40%. So because I was just curious, because like
I'm curious too.
This is something that, if you're a casual watcher, if you don't like read the chat, you just like watch, you know, one of us, you don't know that side of the internet where, you know, Illuminati is. Mm-hmm. Like, why would you know about what the hell's going on unless you're reading the chat and really engaged in, you know, her content. So, but it appears that a lot of people were aware. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
There you go.
Honestly, you know, I see there are people in the chat frustrated that we're talking about this, but honestly, we're in trouble already for not talking about it already. You know, we don't have a choice. We have to address it.
We have to be open and honest.
Regardless of what we're. Yeah.
I feel like honesty is the best policy. So this is something that we're addressing, and then we're gonna move on with the show. But you know, we have to.
Which, by the way, I'm sure maybe soon we can move on. But I do want to get to at some point. Trump's reaction to Ron DeSantis announcing, because I watched one video and I just laughed my ass off. And there's like 4 videos, so I want to see what else he said.
What was really shocking to me was that I listened to that Ron DeSantis space and he didn't address the Illuminati situation once. Couldn't believe it.
Is deafening on that.
Could not believe it.
Responsibility.
Speaking of, I watched some guy cover our reaction to it, talking shit, and they were like, any comments on like because when I jump in and I'm like, oh, I don't know, and I don't know nothing about this, and Mike is like, because I was like, I don't know where, and Mike was like, Olay didn't even know Ben Shapiro and this person, and he's like, oh, how are you gonna be a political commentator? And I'm like, nigga, you don't watch this show. You showed up. You literally admit you're only here because of the seriousness that is fucking Illuminati. Give me a fucking break, you self-righteous bitch. Because I'm like, Ben Shapiro's not the staple of my political fucking focus. Like,
I'm sorry that you have to apologize for having a life, Olay, okay, not knowing Ben Shapiro. How dare you?
I was like, they were like, I was like, oh my god, this chat is. I was like, this is way worse than David Dole's chat ever could be. I ran over to Rashford.
Olay dunking on the chat now. Olay dunking on David Dole's chat.
My chat loves you, but I don't know. They're gonna start turning at this point.
No, I love.
Hey, only one of the people in this room, only one of our chats made a beautiful emote of Olay in animated Dragon Ball form.
Yes, that's
only one. And
that's called simping. All right, Matt, simping over there.
Yes, that's absolute facts. All right, so I see there are people in our chat that somehow feel like we haven't. I felt like we apologized. Like I like a million.
Oh my god,
are you first things we did?
Okay, they gotta be effing around at this point, right?
Yeah, y'all are okay. Yeah, we did our best.
We're 45 minutes into this podcast. This is all we've talked about.
Yeah, and I told you I did research. I changed the flight. I came here, making a whole announcement, apology. Like I don't know what else I could do other than
we have to finish it off with a blood sacrifice.
I said I had it wrong. Okay, I didn't fucking know. All right, all right. At the very least, because I didn't have a position for real, I just didn't fucking know. I'm like, y'all had it right. Okay, got you. I told you.
Yeah,
there you go.
You had it right.
None of us are prepared for like being a like public personality. It just happens. So like we're not PR or media trained. Like we're human beings and we kind of roll with the punches. And we just, sometimes you take an L, you eat shit, you apologize, you move on. That's part of the game. So we're addressing it. We're severing ties, and going forward, we're not going to be a part of that shit. So
Yeah,
and
deleting. Oh.
I want to add.
I just gonna say the crime of deleting YouTube videos was nuts. I don't know if y'all saw that, of logging into Old Boy's channel and deleting videos. That right there, I was like, I would have been out for blood. So yeah. All right.
And yeah, I just want to also add that, like, I think everyone here takes the responsibility very seriously. I totally agree with every single person who's like, you have platforms, what you say and do is important and matters. And like, I completely accept that. In addition to that, I don't think anyone here was intentionally in any way trying to ignore anyone's like, comments or criticisms or all that kind of stuff. I think everyone was basically trying to take in as much information as possible, wait to make an appropriate response, and give a large window of kind of like, good faith in the opposite direction, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like if I were in a position where I was undergoing drama, I would hope that everyone here would give me like some time to prepare receipts and respond to it and not just like jump the gun. So we're trying to be courteous of somebody who was a colleague, so hopefully you all can understand that.
Yeah.
It's uncomfortable. It's an uncomfortable situation. It sucks all around. Like, we had to take shit because we were, associated with Blair, but hopefully you can understand that, like, we weren't afraid to call it out or condemn it. It was never about that, so just.
We just didn't understand the magnitude of what there was to condemn.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, we got y'all. Like I said, we appreciate the audience. I wanted to start. we acknowledge, we love our audience, the ones who have been watching the whole time, not y'all new niggas who just came in here to give us fucking shit.
I don't care about those people at all. The ones that came in, hey, I'm just here for the Illuminati drama. How dare you not denounce her? Like, what the?
They literally like, this is my first time ever watching, but you owe us a sweetie.
All the regular viewers are like, move on. Why the fuck are you still talking about this?
We're like, I'm like, if that's your position, you should be here. Okay, what's your telling me this Olay person leave? You don't watch this show.
Right.
Like, fuck you.
See how we get gaslit, regular audience, by non-audience members? And listen, one last thing before we end this, just to show you how committed we are to, not associating with terrible people. This is the last episode with Matt Binder. We've all agreed to
Finally. Oh, it's so freeing. It's so freeing to say that.
We love Matt.
Yeah, Binder. No, I do think it's really, really funny. Binder acknowledged when Lance spoke to Blair for us, but for a second we were like, you saw Binder spoke for the court tonight. For a second we were like, I mean, Binder, you could do it. Binder was like, yeah, I'd be fine to address the audience, but I think I've never talked to.
I've never talked. How weird would it have been if my first conversation with her in private was like,
no kidding.
I mean, yeah, Lance got us in this mess. It's Lance to get us out.
It's fair.
No, I saw some kid's video. It didn't have no views on it. It was like a video about like fuck me and Lance, like our face on it, and I was like, look at what has happened. Like, look at my face on videos I did not make.
If you search for your channel name on YouTube, it's a horrifying experience. Bro. After you get past your own channel.
Yeah.
Like, it's horrifying.
No, it's not healthy. It's not healthy at all.
No.
You know whether or not they like you or dislike you based on the picture they choose to make the thumbnail. Like, I'm like, listen at you disrespectful bitch ass. Like, hey.
To be fair, I do the same thing though. When I make videos about right-wing ghouls, I'm like, get that perfect freeze frame where like one of the eyes is half closed and they look like super silly. Yeah.
See, that don't even be my brand of disrespect on the thumbnail. I spend my entire episode disrespecting them. But like,
the content speaks for itself. You don't need to be petty. I'm petty.
I do that too, honestly.
We'll talk about Trump and DeSantis, and I'm gonna.
Yeah. So I feel like we've addressed that, and we can all move on with our lives.
Пошли, все вместе. Какие ваши доказательства?
They want you to comply.
Cancel culture is about canceling.
Кокаином.
Up yours. Woke moralists. Up yours.
This is systematic bullying that's happening.
Woke moralists. Up yours.
And they believe that they can then
Woke
shut us
moralists.
up.
Up yours. Woke moralists.
They seem animalistic is what I mean.
No, they're worse than animals.
The woke mob, they ruin everything.
They stop Ben Shapiro from going to events and speaking. They stop Ann Coulter from doing it.
I will never surrender even a single inch of ground to a pitchfork mob.
You never cave to the mob.
We will never bow to the mob. Ever. No matter what.
Do you see the final expression of cancel culture in terrorist groups like
Up yours.
We'll see who cancels who.